Good evening, everyone. Welcome into the Early Late Show. We've got a really special treat for you tonight, so whether you're just getting in from your evening or whether you're about to get it started, we have the perfect thing to get your night going. We're going to be making shrimp and grits with you here tonight, so we're going to get started. We have our setup over here going, and we've got some lovely ingredients right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to explain what shrimp and grits are, and then I'm going to show you how I cook them. Now, before we get started, shrimp and grits are something that are very easy to make, but something that can be considered a delicacy or more of one of those simple foods that you kind of wake up to and think of mom. So let's get started. First of all, I've got a ½ pound of shrimp here, and these are. Let me read the package. I didn't buy these at the store. What kind of shrimp are these, Matt?
White shrimp.
White shrimp. So we have white shrimp. We're going to need to deshell those. We have some lovely parsley here. We have garlic salt. Now, with garlic salt, you can do one of two things. You can either do garlic salt or you can do fresh garlic. I tend to go with the garlic salt simply because it cuts down on the smell that might come from the fresh garlic a little bit. And when it comes to grits, the salt seems to soak up the flavor a little bit more than the fresh garlic. So we're going to stay with that. We also have some yellow grits, and if you watched the morning show this morning, you were privy to our friend from the farmer's market who brought in some of the country grits here. So we're going to be cooking with those as well. We also have some fresh bacon that we're going to be frying up, and now I'm going with the hickory smoked bacon. Now, a lot of you might be saying, I don't know about this flavored bacon and grits and stuff, but I'll go with it because it adds just a little bit more flavor and gives you a little bit more of that depth that you're looking for when you're cooking your grits. We've also got some sharp cheddar cheese here that we're going to put in there for our grits to help that melt and kind of bring the whole thing together. And then we've also got some chives, which will give it sort of a oniony sweet taste, okay? We've also got some chili powder, which we're going to season our shrimp with once we get those sauteed. So let's get going. All right, the first thing we're going to do is, let's see. I'm going to go and start prepping the food here. So we're going to start with the parsley. All right, so we've cut up our parsley there, got that measured out. We've also measured out our grits, and grits are one of those things that, of course, if you've cooked grits, you know they expand when you cook them. So be sure you know about how many people you're going to be serving. If you're just serving yourself, you probably want to go with a smaller portion. But that's the great thing about grits is that they are hearty and filling. But make sure you measure those out depending on how you like your grits, whether you like them soupy or sort of dry. So I like them sort of in between. But with shrimp and grits, I like them to be a little bit more soupy so that it sticks to the grits a little bit more. So we've got those measured out. We've got about 3/4 of a cup of grits. And, of course, these are the country grits. And we've actually started to cook those already because these are the real grits, not the instant kind. So they take about 45 minutes to cook. So you want to make sure that if you're going to be using the real grits, that you go ahead and plan around that. And if you need to get those started early, you can go ahead and do that. I'm also going to go ahead and get our chives going here. Now, chives are, again, one of those things similar to parsley. It's going to add a little bit of depth and a little bit of texture to the food. And how much you put in there is really up to you. And it's not quite as strong as putting, say, a sauteed onion in there. But it's really going to give it that oniony taste without giving you the side effects of onion, which is making your house smell like onion and garlic and all that stuff. So I like to get this ready here. And, of course, fresh ingredients are always great. And if you like to go out and shop for fresh ingredients, be sure to stop by the farmer's market, whether it's in Rocky Mount, Tarboro, or Nashville. Stop by their farmer's market and see what they have. Some of them may have some fresh chives, and of course, chives, a lot of people like them on baked potatoes. They like them on top of soups and things like that. So we're going to use it for something very similar. Another thing that I like to do is I like to cut up my bacon because we're not going to put the bacon in there whole. So why take the extra time to cook it that way when you can go ahead and cut it up now, cut it into bacon bits, and get it going. So here we go. All right, so we got that done. And now with this, I'm actually just going to leave this here. I don't want to put that close to the fresh veggies we just cut. But what we want to do is go ahead and get this started in the pan. And so we're going to move on over here and get going with this. I've already de-peeled the shrimp, and we're going to have those ready. So let's go over here to the stove, and we'll get cooking. All right, well, we've got our prep work done. Now it's time to move on to actually cooking and getting our shrimp and grits ready. So the first thing we're going to start, we've got our grits cooking already. So if you're doing instant grits, you can go ahead and get your water boiling for that. But if not, go ahead and have those cooking if they're the real grits. First thing we want to do though is get our bacon going. And now there's a couple of ways to think about when it comes to cooking bacon. Some people like to cook it like you cook a steak, where you have a hot pan and then you throw your bacon in. I don't go with that approach simply because I think you lose some of the flavor when you do it that way. So what I like to do is turn my pan on and immediately go ahead and put in all of my bacon. And we're going to let that heat up. I'm going to let that heat up in the pan. And what that does is it draws out all those really delicious fats and greases that bacon is known for. It really helps draw those out just a little bit more. And also when you cook your shrimp, you want to make sure you have as much of that bacon grease in the pan as you can. So let me go over here and get the shrimp ready. Get this on our cutting board. And our cooking preppers already got this going here. So I'm going to go ahead and season this up just a little bit here. What I like to do with it, chili powder, a little secret of mine. Put just a little bit of chili powder on it. A little more than a little one. All right, also a little bit of garlic salt. Going to get a little bit of this going here. And as you can hear, our bacon is already starting to sizzle just a little bit. So we get that going. So we get that. We're going to let that sit. Do you have any salt? Get our crack cooking team here. So we get just a little bit of salt. And then we're just going to let that sit. Let it sit here. And then we're going to take it and we're going to move it back over here. Because as soon as our bacon is done, we're going to go ahead and try to get our shrimp ready. And again, you want to keep an eye on your grits. Make sure they're getting coming along fine. So while we're getting our bacon together, and you can hear it's really starting to smell good in here. Getting that hickory smoked flavor from this lovely bacon. And if you want really crispy bacon bits, there's two things you can do. You can either get the really thinly sliced bacon, or you can just cook the thicker slices a little bit longer. Of course, the thicker slices, you're going to have those really crispy edges, kind of like you would have with fatback. But for crispy bacon, try to go with the smaller pieces. We went with thicker slices for this one because I'm not going to fry it to the point where it's really firm, because I want it to have a little bit of texture when it's actually in the grits mixed with the shrimp. So we're just going to get that going there. Can you smell that bacon? Really nice flavors coming from it. And then as you can see, the fat is beginning to render out of the bacon, which is really going to make our shrimp pop. Our grits are also coming along very nicely. So we've been cooking our grits here for about 40-45 minutes, and they're just about ready. They've really started to thicken up, and of course, if you take real grits and you try them throughout, you'll notice a much different texture and consistency as with normal grits, and you have to keep them stirring because it's really like cooking a stew. So you want to keep an eye on it the whole time and just keep working on it. And of course, when they get into those final stages, you really can just take it off the heat and let it sit. So that's what we are going to do here. Got it just about to that point. We'll let it sit while our bacon's still cooking away. Make sure there's no more clumps in the grits. So we're going to mash them out. And with the real grits, you do have to be careful because they will stick together a lot more easily than the instant stuff. So just do that. We're going to take it off the heat, and we're just going to cover it to keep in those lovely flavors. So here we go. And of course, you know your bacon's getting to a good point when it's just a little bit of stickiness on the pan there. When the bacon's sticking just a little bit. There we go. See a lovely color coming to our bacon. And now a lot of people take their bacon and they like to put it onto a paper towel and let the grease drain off. But because we're cooking grits today, we're going to do it just a little bit different. We're going to go straight into the grits with it. So those bacon flavors that the paper towel gets to eat up, our grits are going to eat that flavor up. Okay, so we're getting those going. Go ahead and give our grits another stir here. Want to make sure that those are coming right along here. And this is a perfect time, and I know we're adding a lot of flavors. Go ahead and add a little bit of butter at this point. A little bit of salt. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Come down here. I'm going to add some pepper. Do we have some butter? I'm asking our prep crew here if we have butter. So he's going to walk around the house here, all the way around, and he's going to get us some butter. So our grits are good to go there. Keep those cooking. And our bacon is really starting to shape up here. Of course, bacon's not hard to cook. You just throw it in the pan and cook it. That's all it takes, really. Let it get nice and crispy. I'm going with a softer fry this time. So we're going to just make it healthy here. Have the no-calorie butter. Just put a big old squeeze of that in there. Get that going there. And that is really starting to smell good, folks. Really starting to smell good. And this is the stage that I really like to start to season my grits. Those grits are ready to go. So I'm going to add some of this lovely garlic salt. Get some of that. Put that in there and turn it on for a second. All right, so we got our garlic salt in here. And again, you can use fresh garlic if you want, or maybe even if you're really being adventurous, you can roast some garlic in the oven and try that. And our bacon is just about ready, so give it one more stir, maybe just a couple more minutes here as that's going. And you know, it's great, even though this is not necessarily a breakfast food, this can be anytime food, really. It's easy to make, or you can make it complex, one way or the other. But it's easy to make. The great thing that goes with this, though, is coffee, any time of day, decaf, regular, whatever. So get a pot of coffee, because with that smell of bacon and those grits, you're really going to want to get that going. So our grits are coming along really nicely here. Those are just about ready. So we got that. We got our garlic, got our salt and pepper in there, so those are ready to go. Our butter. And now let's see, what do you think about the color of that? Looking good, isn't it? All right. So now a lot of times you can just dump it straight in, but you don't want to lose a lot of this grease here. This grease here is what's going to cook your shrimp. So you want to make sure that you take, and when you transfer this, you just come in with your spatula and just move it straight into the grits, just like that. Real simple, real easy. Now the grits are very happy. Grits are starting to sing to me now. All right, well, when we come back, we're actually going to cook the shrimp, and we're going to go ahead and tie this dish off, and we're going to show you what the completed shrimp and grits product looks like. Stay with us.
Climb aboard the Whistle Stop Gift Shop and Cafe for hand-scooped ice cream, coffee, local honey, jellies, gifts, and more. We are the home to local artists, vendors, and the Rocky Mount Model Train Museum. There is something for everyone at the Whistle Stop. While at the Whistle Stop, visit the Twin County Museum and Hall of Fame, the Fire Museum just across the street, or the Children's Museum down the block. Find us inside the lobby of the historic train station. Come downtown and climb aboard the Whistle Stop Gift Shop and Cafe.
So we just put our bacon in our grits, and the great thing about doing this is you let it sit in there and that bacon flavor really start to seep through into those grits. And you want to make sure that if you're not a bacon person, you can skip the bacon. Maybe do something like chicken broth, something like that. I know it sounds crazy. Heat up a little bit of chicken broth and then transfer that to your grits, just to give it a little bit more of that meaty, textury flavor. So we're going to try our grits here just to make sure we're on the same page. They're on the same page, I'm on the same page, and we're good to go. Let's see. I know I wasn't supposed to double dip like that, but I have to say they're pretty tasty. So we got those going. Now, here's something you can do. If you want to add a little bit of that onion flavor, this might be a good time just to add a few of those chives. Just a teaspoon. Throw it in there just to add a little bit of color, and go ahead and let the grits, the heat of the grits, go ahead and pull some of those flavors out of there. We're still going to put some on top when we get ready to garnish, but we're going to get that ready. So our pan's ready here for our shrimp. Now, a thing to remember is that shrimp cook very quickly. So what I want to do before we cook our shrimp is I want to go ahead, get this ready. I want to be ready when the shrimp are ready because I let them talk to me. I don't try to tell them when they're ready. So we're going to get these going here. It's a good sound. Try to get these in as quick as you can because they're going to really cook quickly here. And of course, again, we put chili powder and garlic salt and some salt on these. So they're going to cook with that flavor on them. Just a little bite. And again, shrimp cook very quickly. So literally 30 seconds to a minute per side, and they'll be good to go. Because once they get to that point, they are ready to go. Okay. About ready to turn here. I like to keep them moving to make sure we're spreading out that bacon grease. Getting that. So go ahead and start flipping these here. Use my get these turned one time. Let these cook. And by the time we actually turn the ones that we've not turned yet, the ones that we've already turned will be ready. So you just have to be ready to go. If you cook shrimp too, ooh, that hurt. If you cook shrimp too hard, they actually can dampen the flavor of the dish. So you just want to do this. And remember too, when you're cooking, once you get some heat going through something, it continues to cook. Okay? So you really got to keep an eye on that. All right. So here we go. So about 30 seconds for these. And we're almost ready. Almost ready to go. And you can see there's a lot of really good colors coming through here already. Isn't that nice, lovely shrimp white coming through? And there's one that's ready. There's one. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take these off the heat because they are ready to go. Move them over here. We're going to start plating our dish. Now there's a couple of trains of thought. Some people like to throw their shrimp into the grits, mix it up. I like to put them on top and then let the people mix them up themselves. Should we do a plate or a bowl, Matt? All right, let's do a bowl. Let's do a bowl. Country style. So get a big old spoonful of grits here. Put that in there. I'm going to give, let's go ahead and do 3. Okay, let's do 3. Let's try to make it nice. Okay. So, make sure our shrimp are good. And I like to do just a, see, that looks good, doesn't it? Looks really good. Good colors. Lovely, lovely scent coming from our shrimp here. We're going to get these ready. And depending on the number of grits and the number of shrimp, some people, you're not allergic to shrimp, are you, Matt? Okay, good to know, good to know. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to get a couple of these, just right on top there. Right on top, just like that. So we're going to do 5 right on top there. Actually, you know what? Throw one more on there. All right, so there we go. Have that. I'm going to go and put our extra shrimp on this plate here. I lost one. Have that there. Can't forget though. Oh man. My goodness, those are really good. All right, got to put a little bit of cheese on this. Now, if you don't like to mix it up, you might want to hold off on the cheese, but we're just going to go ahead and do that. I like cheese. So we're going to go over here, and now I'm going to make this like I make it for myself. And I'm the kind of person that if I'm cooking with a fork, I like to eat with that same fork. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go ahead and start mixing it around. Go ahead and get those shrimp in there. Get that cheese in there, get it all blended. So now we got that going. Got that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take some chives, sprinkle that over the top, take some parsley, put that over the top. And there we go. Well, let me put it over here at the good light. And this is shrimp and grits. So there we go. So now, for the ultimate test, which is really when it comes to flavor. So I'm going to make sure when I do a taste test, you know, when I go to a restaurant or you're with somebody and they go, would you like a bite of this? And they don't, and it's like, you know, chicken and pasta, and all they give you is like a little string of pasta. That's not a taste of the dish. That's just a taste of the pasta. So when I go for a taste test, I really like to go for everything. So I'm going to try to get a piece of bacon in here, a piece of shrimp, some of the toppings on top, and clearly we have some cheese in there already. So let's see what we got. Plenty of grits, so we got plenty of those. You got to try shrimp and grits. If you haven't, you're really missing out. A southern treat that transcends generations. Really, really good stuff. Now, I have to say thank you to Matt for letting us use his home this evening. And again, if you're looking for something to spice up your evening or maybe try something a little different, go out and get a bag of grits and go to get some shrimp. And try this. You can't go wrong. It's so good. And very healthy for you, too. Okay. Hearty healthy. We're going to throw it back to the studio now where you'll probably see me again. But anyway, thanks for tuning in this evening, and go enjoy some shrimp and grits.